The shadowed city in a forgotten corner of the world, veiled by mist and surrounded by treacherous swamps, lay the city of Noxborough. It was a place of shadows and whispers, where fear wove itself into the fabric of everyday life. The citizens of Noxborough had learned to live with the darkness that seemed to seep from the very stones of their city, but even they could not fully explain the source of their dread. The city had a long history, one marred by tales of curses and hauntings. Ancient legends spoke of a time when Noxborough had been a thriving center of commerce and culture, but that was before the Great Darkness. No one knew exactly what the Great Darkness was, only that it had descended upon the city generations ago, bringing with it a sense of unease that never fully dissipated. Evelyn, a young historian with a penchant for uncovering lost truths, arrived in Noxborough on a crisp autumn evening. She had heard the stories of the city's haunted past and was determined to uncover the truth. With a satchel full of old maps and journals, she checked into a small inn on the edge of the city, her heart pounding with a mix of excitement and trepidation. The innkeeper, an elderly woman named Agnes, eyed Evelyn with a mixture of curiosity and caution. "What brings you to Noxborough, child?" she asked, her voice raspy from years of disuse. "I'm a historian," Evelyn replied, offering a warm smile. "I'm here to learn about the city's past and perhaps shed some light on its mysteries." Agnes shook her head slowly. "Be careful what you seek, young one. This city holds more than just old stories. It holds shadows that are best left undisturbed." Evelyn thanked Agnes for her warning but remained undeterred. She spent her days exploring the city, visiting the ancient library, and speaking with the few residents who would entertain her questions. The streets of Noxborough were narrow and winding, the buildings tall and foreboding, casting long shadows even in the midday sun. One evening, while poring over a particularly old and fragile manuscript in the library, Evelyn came across a reference to the Catacombs of Despair. The manuscript hinted that these catacombs, buried deep beneath the city, were the origin of the Great Darkness. Intrigued, Evelyn decided that she must find these catacombs and uncover their secrets. With the help of a map she found in the manuscript, Evelyn traced the entrance to the catacombs to an abandoned church on the outskirts of the city. The church, with its crumbling facade and shattered stained glass windows, looked every bit as menacing as the legend suggested. Steeling herself, Evelyn pushed open the heavy wooden doors and stepped inside. The interior of the church was dark and silent, the air thick with the scent of decay. Evelyn's footsteps echoed eerily as she made her way to the altar, where the map indicated the entrance to the catacombs lay hidden. She searched for a hidden lever or a loose stone and, after several tense minutes, found a small, inconspicuous switch embedded in the floor. With a creak and a groan, the floor beneath the altar shifted, revealing a narrow staircase that descended into darkness. Evelyn took a deep breath and began her descent, the beam of her flashlight cutting through the inky blackness. The air grew colder as she descended, and the sense of unease grew stronger. The walls of the catacombs were lined with the bones of long-forgotten citizens, their hollow eyes seeming to watch her every move. Despite her fear, Evelyn pressed on, driven by the need to uncover the truth. Deep within the catacombs, she came upon a large chamber. At its center stood an ancient stone altar, covered in strange, glowing runes. The air around the altar seemed to pulse with a dark energy, and Evelyn felt a chill run down her spine. As she approached, the runes began to glow brighter, casting an eerie light that filled the chamber. Suddenly, a shadowy figure materialized before her. It was tall and indistinct, its form shifting and flickering as if made of smoke. "Who dares to disturb the rest of the ancients?" it intoned, its voice a low, resonant rumble. Evelyn, her heart pounding in her chest, forced herself to speak. "I seek the truth of Noxborough's past. I wish to understand the Great Darkness and bring light to the shadows that haunt this city." The figure seemed to regard her for a moment, its eyes, if it had eyes, boring into her soul. "The Great Darkness is not a curse but a burden," it said finally. "It is the weight of the past, the remnants of a great tragedy that befell this city. The ancients sought to harness a power beyond their understanding, and in doing so, they unleashed a force that could not be contained." Evelyn listened, her mind racing. Is there a way to lift this burden? To free Noxborough from the shadows? The figure nodded slowly. The power that was unleashed must be confronted and reconciled. The truth must be brought to light, and only then can the shadows be dispelled. With that, the figure vanished, leaving Evelyn alone in the chamber. She knew what she had to do. Returning to the surface, she gathered the residents of Noxborough and shared with them what she had learned. Together, they delved into the city's history, uncovering the events that had led to the Great Darkness and acknowledging the mistakes of the past. In time, as the truth was revealed and the weight of history was lifted, the shadows that had haunted Noxborough began to recede. The city slowly transformed, its streets growing brighter and its residents more hopeful. Evelyn's quest had brought not only knowledge but also a sense of healing to the city. Noxborough, once a city of fear, became a symbol of redemption and resilience. And Evelyn, the historian who had dared to seek the truth, was remembered as a beacon of light in the darkest of times.